So today, guys, we're going to be showing you 3 of the best solo player PvE builds in the game. They give you insane amount of damage, they give you an insane amount of survivability, and they all do something special in their own way. And I'll be showing you a build breakdown for each one of them. Also in the description, you will be able to find a link to each build. So if you guys want to see the timestamps, they'll be there, and then there'll be a slower breakdown on other videos if you guys want to see those. So I'll have timestamps and links to other builds so you can see a little bit more gameplay on each. But to make this video not super long, I didn't want to have super long gameplay, but if you want to see more in-depth gameplay for each one of these builds, well, definitely check that out. All right, guys, let's get into it and let's talk about our first solo player build. So if you've been watching any of my gameplay recently, especially on my new account over on PC, we've been running this build exactly, but obviously this is a more maxed out version of that build because this is on my main account on PlayStation 5. The reason I like this build as one of the better solo player builds is because it allows you to make mistakes because of the armor on kill. But let's get into it. So for our first solo run and gun builds, we are running a Hunter's Fury setup, as you guys are seeing right here. Now, the cool thing about Hunter's Fury, if you guys don't already know, remember it gives you 15% shotgun damage and 15% SMG damage, 20% armor on kill, 100% health on kill, and then it has Apex Predator. So it's going to all enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Now, if you kill a debuff enemy with your weapon, disorients all enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by another 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So that would give you additional 25% extra weapon damage. Now we have weapon damage on here, crit damage, and critical hit damage mod. For the chest, we're running Sokolov chest. This gives additional 10% SMG damage. We have 15% weapon damage, critical damage, critical chance, critical damage, and then we have obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. Now this stacks up to 25 times, so that means you could have an additional 25% extra weapon damage if you have a max stack of obliterate going. For our second piece of Hunter's Fury, we have the holster. So this is going to have armor, critical hit damage. For our third piece of Hunter's Fury, we have the knee pads, which is going to have armor, critical hit damage. For our fourth piece of Hunter's Fury is the gloves. We have armor, critical hit damage, putting us at 1.5 million. And then we pair it off with the Memento backpack with weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and then obviously we have critical chance. If you guys know how Kill Confirm, it's probably one of the best solo player run and gun pieces to put on most of your builds because of the fact that when you have full stack of 30, you're gaining additional 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency, and 3% armor regen. Plus, every time I pick up a trophy, if I'm running this exact setup, I'm getting 15% extra weapon damage. And then I'm also getting 40% extra bonus armor on each trophy pickup for 10 seconds. So that's why this has always been one of my favorite solo run and gun. For the gun, I pair off the Hunter's Fury usually with the SMG and a shotgun. Scorpio shotgun would be great if you guys have it, or any other shotgun like maybe the name shotgun, the mop if you don't. But your primary will be the Vector SBR. We have weapon damage, SMG damage, critical chance, and damage targets out of cover on here. And then obviously you can put whatever talent you want. If you want more damage, close and personal, killer, or if you guys want more survivability, you can put preservation, which actually gives you health on kill. Something you see me run a lot with my striker build right here, because you know that 10% armor over 5 seconds, if you get a headshot kill, it's 20%, which can make you survive, especially once you start building that stack. So it's really up to you what you want to run. Now, if you guys have the named Vector, which is the Dark Winter, you get Perfect Killer, which killing an enemy within with a critical hit grants 50% critical damage for 10 seconds. So that's another great one. So you can either run the Perfect Killer, or you could run something like this with close and personal, or regular killer, or preservation. Like I said, really up to you on how you want to run this and what weapon you want to use your primary. Scorpio, ideally, if you can, just because if you get those really tanky enemies, you swap to it. Those hunters, those rogue agents, just hit them a couple times, you'll stop them in place, and you can finish them off. Yeah, but these two are my go-tos for this build. If you look at the stats, we have 58% crit chance, 129% crit damage, 70% headshot damage, and then we do have some damage targets out of cover because of the weapon, 10%, right? So a lot of damage on the build. You'll see 457,000 armor on kill. So yeah, so 1.5 million armor. If you feel like you're not hitting hard enough, drop the armor down, go more reds. And if you feel like you're not tanky enough, we'll go up to 1.7, and you'll notice, put another blue, you'll notice it definitely does work. And the stronger you get with the build, overall it is good. But let's get into the second build, which you guys are seeing right here. And this is probably one of my favorites, hands down. I gotta say, I honestly like Hunter's Fury because it allows you to make mistakes with that armor and kill, as you guys saw how we had that set up. But this one right here, the extra rate of fire that you get on the FAMAS just brings back a lot of those Division 1 vibes. And ever since this set has come out, I have tried to replicate that armor regen, or try to have a little bit of that armor regen that we've gotten from Division 1. But yeah, this build right here, you guys are going to really enjoy this one. If you guys run it the way I run it, you'll still have some survivability, kind of like what you have with Hunter's Fury. So let's get into build. So you might have guessed it, for our second build, we were running the Striker set. So we went from the Hunter's Fury to the Striker set. And I'll tell you, this is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, over Hunter's Fury for solo players because of the way the build is set up. Let's start off with the weapon. We are running a FAMAS. On this one, we're running ARs and shotguns versus SMG and shotguns. And the reason why is the FAMAS is one of my favorite. Now, if you feel like the FAMAS is a little too hard to control, you can always check out some of the other better ones, like Police M4 and those types of weapons that still have high rate of fire. You don't want to lose too much rate of fire, because the great thing about the FAMAS on the Strikers, it picks up that rate of fire, right, because of the one piece. So it allows you to keep that stack up, because that's all about Strikers, hitting those shots, keeping the stack up, and that's why FAMAS works great with it. Now, to initially get your stack, having a fast roll ACS like the Rock and Roll, the named one, will help you keep those stacks up. So for the FAMAS, we have Assault Rifle, health damage, damage targets out of cover. And if you notice on this one, we have Preservation, killing enemy repairs 10% of your armor over 5 seconds. Now, every time I get a headshot, additional 10%. So that means I'm getting 20% every time I get a headshot kill over 5 seconds. And it's great, especially with the Striker set, and you pair that up with the Memento, works amazing. We have crit chance on the underbarrel, crit chance on the muzzle brake, and then a 20 round extended magazine. We have the Rock and Roll, like I said, great for building the stacks. It has shotgun damage, damage to armor, damage targets out of cover, and then it has perfectly extra 50% magazine capacity. Great one for just building the stack. Crit chance on both the muzzles. But I use this initial, that when I first go into battle, build the stack, and then I swap to my FAMAS and use it the rest of the way. So Strikers, why is it good? 15% weapon handling, helps control that FAMAS a lot easier. Also 15% rate of fire, makes it shoot a lot faster. And then Strikers gambles, where the power of the build comes out. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. Now, 1 stack lost per second between 0 and 50 stacks, 2 stacks lost per second between 50 and 100 stacks. Now, I like running mine around 1.5 million. Some people like 1.3 million, really up to you. We have armor, critical damage, and critical hit chance mod on here. For the chest piece, I am running the Striker Battle Gear chest piece because it has a talent called Press Advantage. Now, increases those max stacks that you heard before, the 100 up to 200. And then every 3 stacks lost per second between 100 and 200. So we'll lose 3 stacks from 100 to 200, so it's not that hard to really keep up. We have armor on here, critical damage, and critical hit chance. Now, I pair that up with the Picar's holster because this is going to give us a red roll technically, because we get the 15% weapon damage at the bottom. We have another blue roll, 170,000 armor, and then we have critical hit damage on there. Plus, it gives us 10% skill haste, which works good with our skills. For the knee pads, we went with the Striker Battle Gear knee pads, and this is going to give us weapon damage, critical hit chance. For the gloves, we have the Striker Battle Gear gloves for weapon damage, crit chance. And then obviously the backpack, Memento backpack, weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and then if you notice, critical hit chance right there, and then we have kill confirmed. I explained what this does in the last build, so I won't do it again. But yeah, these builds will have Memento, great for solo running gun players. And we go here and we'll see 55% crit chance, 80% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, and then 19% health damage. Plus we have a 10% damage targets out of cover that we have on the AR itself, if you look right here. So a very solid build. This is probably, if not my favorite build out of all the solo running gun builds. For me, the Striker is just the funnest one to run because of that rate of fire, just being able to land those shots, build the damage. But a lot of people do like the Hunter's Fury over this, and they like running the SMG. So if you like SMGs, I would say Hunter's Fury. If you like ARs, I would say this one. Now the next one, a lot of you guys will have fun with, so let's get into that build. So Heartbreaker is one of those sets that provide some type of survivability with some really good damage, and some people prefer this over the Striker set. For me, I still would like to rank them Hunter's Fury as one of the easier sets to use, more forgiving. Strikers, one of the better sets, and then Heartbreaker is very good too. They both work amazing, but to me, if I had to rank them in that order, that's what they would be. But Heartbreaker is definitely up there as one of the best solo player PvE builds. So let's get into it so you guys can see how I have it set up and how effective it could be. Now for our final build, we had the Heartbreaker. As you guys saw, definitely an amazing build to run. Now with this one, I like running the Technician. The reason why is because what the Police M4 is going to do is it's gonna have Flatline on it, and it's also gonna have Spotter. So what it's going to do is we're gonna allow us to use the Link Laser Pointer, so we don't really have to pulse. I do pulse initially to build the stacks with the shotgun, but if you get headshots, you can also build it too. But the way it works is we have crit chance on the scope, we have 20 rounds with the Link Laser Pointer and 5% crit chance. Obviously we have assault rifle, health damage, damage strikes out of cover, typically the best rolls you see for core attributes. And then look at this, Flatliner amplifies weapon damage by 15% to pulse enemies, and that's why the Police M4 works amazing here. Now if you don't want to use the Police M4, you guys can actually use the FAMAS. The FAMAS is a great one too. Only recommendation here is I personally like Preservation, so you don't have to use Flatline if you don't want to. Another great way to run this, and then you just have to run a pulse or get those headshots. Now what does the Heartbreaker do different than other ones? Well, the 2-piece gives us 50% assault rifle, the 3-piece gives us 15% weapon handling, and then look at Heartstopper. Headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds. Now weapon hits on pulsed enemies add a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% damage to pulse enemies up to a max stack of 50. 2 stacks are lost each second. So that's just something for you to keep in mind when you guys are running this. Now we have armor on here, we have crit chance, and we have crit damage mod. So for the chest piece, you could either run, you can either run the chest piece Heartbreaker, or you can run it how I'm running it now with the Fenris. We have assault rifle damage, we have weapon damage, crit chance, and crit damage mod. Plus I put Spotter on there because remember we have the Link Laser Pointer. So it amplifies total weapon damage and skill damage by 15% to those pulse enemies. So more amplified damage right there. For the holster, we have the Heartbreaker holster, and then this is gonna have armor, critical hit chance. For our third piece of Heartbreaker, we're gonna have the knee pads, weapon damage, critical hit chance. We have the gloves, they're gonna give us armor, critical hit damage. And then finally, we have the Memento backpack again, weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and critical hit chance on the build. And then obviously the talent kill confirmed. If we go over and look at the stats real quick, you'll notice we have 50% crit chance, 81% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, the 10% damage strikes out of cover, and that's pretty much all we need. A 1.5 million armor. This build right here works amazing. I use a defender drone most of the builds, and then for this one I do have the scanner pulse, but you can swap this out. Reason why is because I want to be, I don't have a Link Laser Pointer on here. You could put the Link Laser Pointer if you want. So if you want to get rid of that damage, you could put the Link Laser Pointer there, right? And then what you could do is you could get rid of this right here, and then you could run something else like maybe that. So that's ideally how you could run this too. It's really up to you. But yeah, those 3 are the best, in my opinion, the best run and gun solo player builds in the game right now, just because of the survivability they give you, the damage they give you, and overall they kind of do everything, right? So, and that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, leave a thumbs up, and there will be timestamps for each build in the description. So see you guys in the next one. Hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.